Hey guys, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Monday, November 28th. It is 3:59 p.m. right now. Our scheduled mentoring session is for 4 p.m. So we're just a minute early. I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started shortly. Just give me a few moments to finish setting this up. I'll leave the chat open today. I typically don't, but this will help for a lot of people who want to learn the strategies who are not necessarily in the premium. So I'll leave that open for you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Just give me a few moments to finish setting this up, and then we should be good to go. So a couple more things here to update. That's good. All right, I think for the most part, we're pretty much good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Send this out to you guys right here. All right, cool. So I got that link sent out there. I'll give a few moments for people to, make their way in. Send this link over here as well. And I'll also send this out in the other group too. Over here. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. Today, the session is starting a little later than usual, guys. A few people asked if we can have it a little later, so didn't hurt to just push it back a little bit. So good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday, November 28th. It is 4:01 right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, our main focus today is going to be the main strategies that we've been applying. And also, any other things? It's on Instagram. I'm gonna put this on the story real quick so people can join in. So let's put this up right there. Zoom out a little bit. All right. Yeah, I'm like openly sharing the links now for the mentoring sessions because there's a lot of new people who are joining in and they don't know when these mentoring sessions are happening. So I've just been posting them up so people can see and know when to join in. So all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, our main topics for today are going to be the strategies that we apply pretty much during the live session and intraday. So for the live sessions that we have each morning, if you guys are new here, I trade live every morning from 6:30 to 8, sometimes past 8 if there's no trades between 6:30 and 8. And the two main strategies that I apply are these two right here, the high-low momentum pivot scalp strategy and the momentum scalp strategy. Through intraday, I trade the SR zone strategy. These are all three different strategies that I've created and I've been applying, throughout the year or throughout the years, actually. I've been trading these same strategies for a while now. So if you guys have any questions regarding any of them, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to be focusing on pretty much these three main strategies for today. I'll go over examples for them, and then we will also go over any specific questions that you guys have. But I think other than that, we'll just take it as the questions come in, and then we'll continue on with anything else that comes along the way. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll start off with with the high-low momentum pivot scalp strategy first. So I'll go ahead and start off with that here. I know a lot of you guys trade US 30. I trade US 32. I'm currently on YM. YM is the future. So if you guys don't understand the difference between YM and US 30, that's completely fine because they're exactly the same. The thing with YM is that YM is the actual raw asset. So this is the asset that US 30 is based off. This is the actual asset that US 30 basically mirrors itself off. US 30 is the indice, which isn't allowed in the US because of leverage reasons. Obviously they want to protect traders. So this typically requires a lot of capital to trade, or a lot more capital than usual to trade because of the type of asset that you're trading. So what I'm using here is I'm using this data because for the past couple of months, the US 30 data that we typically use, currency.com, has been kind of choppy. It's been kind of there and not there. So that's why I paid for this actual data. You have to pay to use this data. I pay a monthly fee to have the raw data on my trading view. If you guys try to pull this up on your screen, it's going to show delayed, but mine here is real time because I pay for it. So it doesn't really make a big difference. You'll see that the sessions are a little different because pricing is a bit off, but it doesn't matter because for our scalping, we don't base our entries off pricing. We base our entries off our requirements. So just an FYI, if you guys are curious or you guys are confused why we're looking at YM here instead of US 30, doesn't make a huge difference. This is actually a better asset. And the thing with me and Maddie and a couple other people in the group that we noticed is that this is actually ahead. So if you guys remember the trade that I took earlier today, we took just one trade right here for the scalp. What happened was when I took this trade, I actually got in earlier because this is faster than FTMO. It might be like a split second or a couple seconds before. So like basically when I entered this trade here, usually like when you enter a trade, you have to cover the spread. So you're like in the negative for like a couple seconds, right? When I entered this trade here, I was actually at break even, and then I went straight into profit. The reason for that is because this data here is a lot more accurate compared to FTMO and compared to US 30. So if you guys are a day trader and a scalper, having the fastest data really matters. If you're trading intraday, it doesn't matter so much because you're going to be off by a couple pips or so. But with day trading, it's not a huge deal. I mean, it is a huge deal. So it's not necessary that you guys pay for this because I trade live every morning, so you guys can just look at my screen. But if you guys want it, you guys can get access to it. So, all right, I don't have any questions right now. We're just going to start off at the first strategy right here, which is the high-low momentum pivot scalp. So one question from B. B's asking, how do you go about paying for it? Haven't seen where to buy data. If you go down to your account settings, B, where it shows where you purchased your trading view account, it'll have an option there where it says to purchase extra data. And that's where you would find it. There's two different options. There's I can't pull it up on here, but I can pull it up on the actual. Let me see if I can pull it up over here without giving away my personal info. So let me go over here real quick. Okay. So let me go. Where is this thing at? Okay, premium, account and billing. All right, so see if I could do this without giving you guys my credit card number. Okay, so I got this right here. All right, so basically this is where you would get it from. You go to your plan here, and then down here it says extra data subscriptions. Right here I pay for CME group. There's two different options. There's CME group, and then there's also the ICE data, which is higher, but it's a lot more. I only pay about like $4 a month for this, which is it's nothing. It's like, you have one trade, I'll make it back. The ICE data is 111 a month, I believe. So if you go here to add extra market data, this is where you can add the market data that you want. So I pay for this one here, CME group. It pretty much gives you all the futures, which is YM, it's US 30, NQ, which is NASDAQ, ES, which is S&P. So it gives you pretty much the data there. This data is fine, I think. I don't think you need the ICE unless you really want that overkill data, which could be a good thing, but it's not really necessary. If you just want stocks, you can buy stocks here. If you want OTC markets, you can have it there, but I don't trade any of this stuff. So the only thing I need here is CME. It's $4 a month, not that bad. If you want ICE, you can do that too. This will include indices. It's 110. If I have issues with CME, then I'll just pay for ICE because I paid $4 for this data. I took one trade today and I made 6,000. Right. So it pays itself off if you could at least lock in one good trade and have a head start. in the market. So this is where you would sign up for it if you want access to it. Again, it's not necessary. I mean, it's necessary if you want to scalp like I do, but I'm scalping live, so you guys can just use my screen. But it's up to you guys. So that's where you would get it. B. I don't know if they have. Well, yeah, they would have gold because it'd be under futures. So I don't know if it'd be under CME or if it'd be under ICE, but you can probably find it. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see, futures, gold. Yeah, you can find it right here. So, I mean, depending on which data you want, COMEX is probably the best one. It has the countries right here too. I mean, you obviously want to take the US data. So COMEX would probably be the best one here. And I mean, you can put it side by side with like Oanda. It doesn't really make a big difference, but let me see. Maybe just put them side by side. No, I don't think you could. Well, because you don't trade the gold future. That's the thing. If you trade this gold, like say the Forex pair, it's different from futures, so you wouldn't really need that data. This is only if you're trading the actual gold future, like gold by itself, not where it's paired against anything. So yeah, it's not really necessary. I mean, I don't think you really need it. I don't think you need it. Question from Surin. Surin is asking, did you verify how much it differs from currency.com? Not exactly, because I would have to look at it real time. Surin, but I did notice that, well, me and Maddie noticed that it's a lot faster, like way faster. So when I took the trade earlier this morning, Surin, for this one, typically when you enter a trade, you have to cover the spread. So you enter, when you enter the trade, you're in like -200, negative couple $100. When I entered this trade, I entered at break even, like it was already at zero, and I went straight into profit because what happened was I entered the trade, and this data was actually ahead of time, about a second. So what happened was I entered this trade, and then FTMO finally moved, but I got in for some profit, and then it moved after, and then I made some. I basically covered the spread right away and then went straight into profit. So I think this is a lot. I mean, it's a lot better if you need it, if you're day trading. But I don't know. We'll see. It's been only 1 day since I've used it, so I can't really tell you exactly if it's going to be like this every day or moving forward. But I think it's worth the $4 in my opinion. But let's see. B Money's asking, does it show for pairs NASDAQ is by itself? So NASDAQ and US 30 aren't paired with anything, B. Like US 30, this isn't paired with anything. It's just US 30. NASDAQ isn't paired with anything either, just NASDAQ. It's the same with like US 100. US 100 is the same thing as NASDAQ. NASDAQ 100, US 100, it's the same thing. This isn't a Forex pair. Forex pair is when it's paired against another asset. So for example, if you're trading GJ, this is paired against two different assets here. It's GBP versus JPY. Or if you're trading gold, you're trading gold versus the USD. So it's XAU USD. If you're trading futures, you're just trading that specific asset. So it's not paired against anything. So, but yeah, the data that you purchase, it depends on like which one you want to buy. So if you want to buy stock data, you can buy stock data. If you want to buy futures data, which is what I use because I trade futures, that's what I have access to. But for Forex pairs, you don't really need it because you can't really scalp Forex pairs like we do for US 30 because the spread's so wide that it's like impossible to really scalp. You can trade it intraday, but scalping not necessarily, because you can't go for like a few pips. Like if you're going for 1 pip, you're basically going for 6 pips. You're really just trading intraday. Malcolm's asking, what is that $4 and is it for US 30? Yeah, so okay guys, so if you guys are just joining the YouTube, I use YM as my asset to trade US 30. YM is the future. So if you guys are not familiar with YM is basically US 30, but it's the raw asset. So US 30 copies the moves of YM. YM is the main one. And then US 30 is an asset that brokers create so that they can copy the data so that they can trade like smaller lot sizes. If you're trading the future, you typically can only trade like 1 contract, which is equivalent to like one standard lot. depending if you're trading the mini or the regular, the standard. The $4 that I paid for is for the data. So if you pull this up, like you guys can try to pull this up on your chart right now. If you want to pull this up, Malcolm, just pull it up on your trading view. It's going to say delayed right here because you have to pay for the data. I paid for the data, so I have real time. It's only $4, so it's not a big deal. But that's the main thing. What I paid for is I paid for all the futures. So if you go over here to the assets, if you click on futures right here, you're going to have all the futures right here that you can trade. If you want to just trade gold, YM, Bitcoin, this is like the future. It's just by itself. It's not paired against anything. If you click on any of these, you're going to see that the market's delayed because you have to pay for it. If you're trading the Forex pair or something else, the indice, this is typically covered within the broker that you're looking at. But if you guys have noticed lately, the broker data has been super laggy for the past couple months. So that's why I paid for this. It's not necessary, but if you want to day trade, I do think it is necessary because you want the fastest data, especially if you're going for 100 pips here or there, like 1 or 2 points, 10 points, etc. Because each point it counts and it matters. So you have to you got to hop in and out of those trades like really quickly. So let me scroll up real quick. Yeah, no problem, Stern. Yeah, we'll just keep following it this week. This is my first day trading on YM. It's actually really good because it was actually a lot smoother than I thought it would be. There's no price gaps and stuff. Like sometimes for US3, you'll see like price kind of just push up and then you'll see like a big empty space, right? So for example, here, if you look at YM, there's no empty spaces, right? Let me go over here to US30 and there's no gaps over here really because the market was kind of smooth today, but typically you'll have like gaps in price. They're not really gaps, but they're more like data gaps. Like for example, right here, right? Like price is dropping right here and then you have a random gap down here, right? This was on Sunday at 1910. So let me see if I can find it over here if this had a gap too. So Sunday at 19. Actually, my bad. This is when market reopened. So this actually is kind of similar, but I'm talking about like on a normal day, like on like Monday through Friday. But I'll show you guys that if it comes across, I'll show you. But this is like real-time data for the actual future. So, well, when I see it, I'll show you guys. There's no point in me showing you because there's just really no point. And you guys don't really need it unless you guys are scalping like I am. Like if you're scalping on the 1 minute time frame, you definitely need the fastest data. All right, so let me scroll down real quick. And let me see what B is asking. So B is asking, have you ever looked into any 2-year strategies? 2R strategies. I was tempted to back test the zone-to-zone strategy with 2R since you only need about 33% win rate to be profitable. I had quite a lot of success doing 5-minute V1s with pending 15-minute V1s on gold and 2R 25 pip stops, 15 pip CPs. No, not really, B, because I don't like holding trades for that long. So I haven't really looked at any 2R strategies. My trading style is to get in and out quickly. The thing that like you probably notice is that there's a lot of manipulation in the market, right? So for me personally, I like to just get in and out super quick. I don't want to be in the trade for like, more than 10 minutes. I'd rather be out like within a minute or two, take my profit and run and using proper risk so I can make enough profit to really make it worth my time, right? So for me personally, I haven't really looked at any 2R strategies because if I was going for 2R, I'd probably have to hold on to that trade for at least like, 30 minutes or so in a lot of instances, or 15 minutes, which is too long for my appetite. The thing with that is, also there's a lot of news happening. There wasn't news today, but typically there's a lot of news like every 30 minutes. So if I'm holding on to a trade for like 15 to 30 minutes, it becomes an issue because if that news event comes around and I'm holding a trade to try to get that 2R in, I know you can move your stop loss and profit, but a lot of times you don't have that opportunity because you might just go sideways. Oh, and you're talking about Forex. Yeah. So It's the same thing with Forex. Like with Forex, I don't like to actively manage the trade. You guys have seen whenever I call the trades here for like these Forex entries, I typically just take the trade and I let it run to full TP. If you guys have seen my signals, I typically have only like one TP, one stop loss because I just want to set and forget the trade. So for me personally, I don't necessarily look for anything because if you've looked at my 4-hour entries or like the entries I took last week, they're like big moves, right? So it's kind of hard to do a 2R on those. Like unless you make your stop loss like really tight, which it is possible, but you know, again, like I was mentioning, it doesn't really fit my trading style. So for me personally, I just like set and forget. So like for EG, like, yeah, I could have done this maybe a 2R like you mentioned, but if I had a 2R here, I probably would have gone stopped out, right? Because if my stop loss was halfway, it would have stopped me out before I hit my TP. The stop loss was already wide, was already 70 pips. So if I just half that out, it would lower my win rate. Same with the GN trade over here. So the GN trade that I also called, where's it at? Yeah, and it's all to preference. You know, and it's not that it's impossible. It's just that I personally don't want to do it because it's just too much work. I would have to actively manage it. Like for example, this GA trade would have worked out perfectly, right? If you wanted to do a 2R trade on this one, you could have had a half stop loss right here, but and you still would have hit your TP because it did end up going to full TP. However, for me, I don't want to have to check on the trade and then mess with it, right? Because this would have worked perfectly for you, B. Like this one right here. If you had a half stop loss and you went for the full TP, you went for like a full 150 pips, a pretty big move. The way that I personally like to do it is I protect my position when I reach a certain amount of profit. So like, for example, here when price reached like a pretty big push right here to halfway, I moved my stop loss in profit. And then I just pretty much let it run. So I guarantee my profit. I guess this is basically like doing what you're doing. I'm just like protecting my position as price moves along. So it's kind of similar to doing like a 2R or like no risk, because usually after the first 1 or 2 candles, you're in profit already. So you can like move your TP up. So, I mean, it's kind of similar. I just do my way a little differently. I like to protect my position. I like taking the full position size right away, and then I'll just protect the position as price goes along. That's why I have the recommendation right here. You know, recommend moving stop loss in profit once candle closes in profit. So like, I didn't move it right away, but as soon as price moved up here, I moved my stop loss to this point and I just let it run. So I guaranteed about like half a percentage point. And I risked about like 5% on this trade. So made pretty good profit on that, 602. And then the EG here, I got stopped out on profit. So I moved my stop loss too close. Yeah, let me see. So B said, yeah, no, you can do that, B. Like you know, like I mentioned, you can manage it however you like. The stop loss isn't really the main thing, like for that strategy. Anyways, it's a TP, right? Because I still move my stop loss in profit. So it's just really up to preference. Yeah, and you like the one-to-one as well. But yeah, exactly. Prop firms, they like I think for prop firms, it's better to scalp rather than doing these intraday swing trades. That's why I don't take any of my Forex trades on my FTMO. I only take this on my Forex.com account. I deposit like 10,000 in the account. And I risk about like 3 to 5% per trade because you know we only have like a few trades a week, and they usually hit. So I don't mix it with my FTMO because you can't hold trades to certain periods. There's too many rules, right? Like you can't hold into news and then you can't hold over the weekend. So it just becomes an issue. And that's why I like to scalp with it, because when you scalp, this is more of the style that prop companies look for, because they want you to be in and out super quickly because they want to lower their risk as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, B said FTMO is the only company like that. You need a swing account. Yeah, and I agree with you too, B. That's why I personally don't trade FX on my FTMO. I could probably make a lot more money because right here I took a small lot size for my GA trade last week. I basically took like a half standard. So I took like a 0.54 lot right here. If I took this with a standard lot or even 2 lots, this would have been like 4x. So I'd have made like 602 times 4. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it took all week to hit, but if I took a bigger lot size, could have made a lot more. but it's okay because my scalps cover that. So it's not really a big deal. I use that for scalping and I use this for my personal. All right, cool. So if you guys have any other questions, always feel free to just pop your question in the chat. If you guys want to speak, just let me know. But I think as of now, I think that's it with the questions. So we'll cover the strategies from now. So the first strategy I'm going to look over is going to be the high-level momentum pivot scalp strategy. So I'm going to go back like earlier in the day because there's like no entries over here. I think the first entry came up, or not first entry, but the first entry that I can personally see would be right here. So for this strategy right here, you just want to identify a momentum signal. So right here, we have a sell signal, right? That's going to be step one. For step two, you want to draw a zone at the high low before momentum. So if you're looking for a sell signal, you want to look for the high. If you're looking for a buy signal, you want to look for the low. So looking at this right here, we have a sell signal. We look up to the most recent high, which is going to be right here. What I'll do from this point is I'm going to draw a zone right there. And that's going to be step two. Step three, you want to confirm momentum's rejecting off the high-low zone. So you can see from this momentum signal, price is basically pushing away from the zone right here, right? That's going to be requirement three. And for requirement four, you can confirm trading the direction of trend using the pivots and trend meter. So typically for myself, I like to look at multiple timeframes when I'm scalping because I want to make sure that I'm trading in the proper direction. And for this trade right here, you can see that price is bearish, right? So like, for example, the 10-minute was bearish pretty much all day. A 5-minute was bearish as well. So that would have been, okay, cool. I'm looking for a sell at this point. Looking over here on the 1 minute, to confirm it, you want to make sure that price is below the pivots. Pivots are angling down. Pretty much all the pivots are below the level 4, which is this red one right here. And lastly, you want to see the trend meter down here also red. So with price below the pivots, trend meter red, the pivots are angling down and they're pretty much spread out. This indicates that it's in a strong downtrend. So once we have this set up right here, you have requirements 1, 2, 3, and 4 met. You can enter on the close of the momentum candle. So with that said, you enter a short position right here. You have your default settings for TP stop loss lined up right there. You let the trade run. And it takes a few candles right here, but eventually does hit. This was towards the end of the session, so you can see volatility was dying down a bit. And that's one entry right there. If you go back a little further, there's actually another one right here. I'm just looking at these sell signals because we're obviously not looking for buys. Everything was a sell for today. So if you go back like a few more candles right here, there's actually another one. So we just had this one right here. Same thing again. First requirement, identify momentum signal. We have a sell signal right here. Second, draw a zone at the high low before momentum. This is like identifying supply. So supply and demand, I know some of you guys like to trade that. I don't trade supply and demand, but this is my way of identifying something similar to a supply and demand zone. So we have a supply up here. Identify momentum signal right there. Draw a zone at the previous high low right there. Confirm momentum is rejecting off the zone. Again, this momentum signal is pushing away from the zone. Confirm trading in the direction of trend. So prices below the pivots are angling down, red pivots above, trend meter down here is red. You have a pretty strong sell bias. I set it up again right there. Fourth requirement is met. Now for the fifth requirement, you enter on the close of the momentum candle. So again, right there is your entry. You have everything set up. You let the trade run again from this point. Kind of bounces around a bit, but eventually comes down and it hits profit target. So this is towards the end of the session. I typically don't trade around this time, but I'm just showing you guys this as an example. So there goes another example of this right here. Looking at this right here, this is not an entry. If you guys can tell, I can just point out exactly why it isn't. It would have worked. So this trade still would have hit TP eventually, but it's not an entry using the strategy. So using the strategy right here, again, you want to identify momentum. We have a sell signal here. For the second requirement, draw a zone at the high low before the momentum signal. We're looking for the high here. And for the third requirement, confirm the momentum is rejecting off the zone. It's not rejecting off it right here, right? Because it's not even touching it. So with that said, this isn't an entry. This is an entry for another strategy, which is the other one I'm going to show you, but it's not an entry for this specific strategy here. So there's going to be different strategies for different entries, but this pretty much shows you exactly how to apply this one. It's a super simple strategy. I mean, mostly we'll be looking for the trend anyway. So if we identify the trend, we can easily just identify the entry off this too. And this lines up with the momentum scalp. So super simple strategy. If you guys have any questions regarding that, just let me know, and then we will go over that. Question from B. B's asking if I don't mind, could I cover my favorite FX strategies one-to-one at some point? Yeah, that's going to be the last strategy that we cover. B. This is the only strategy I really apply for FX now, because I don't want to be on the charts all day. So the only strategy I apply, this is the only strategy I use for the signals too. So I'll go over that at the end. After we go over this and the momentum scalp strategy, but this is literally the only strategy I apply now. There's a lot of other strategies that you can apply, but this is like the easiest because it's done on the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour candle closes 6 times a day at 2 a.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m., and then again at 2 p.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. So if you don't want to be on the charts all day, just trade on the 4-hour. It closes at the same time every day. And you don't have to be on the charts all day. You just need to check right before 6. Like, for example, it's 4:30 right now, right? I don't have to be on the charts until like 6 o'clock. So I can do whatever I want until 6 or like 5:30. And then I'll pull up the charts and I'll see if there's any entries. If there is, then I'll take them. If not, then I just wait until 10. So I got another 4 hours to do whatever I want, come back and take the trade. So I'll go over that in a little bit, B. If there's anything else you want me to cover, just let me know. But this is pretty much it for the high-low momentum pivot scalp. If you guys want me to go over anything else regarding the strategy, just pop into the chat. I even opened the YouTube. So if you guys have questions in the YouTube, feel free to pop in. I'm here to help you guys out. So whatever you guys need help with, I'm here to answer. So we're done with this strategy right here. Let's move on to the next one, which is the momentum scalp strategy. The second strategy we identified here on the live sessions. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to rewind so that we can find this entry. So we have a sell signal right here. I'm not looking over here because you can see how choppy the market is. This is obviously not trending in any direction. This was close to market close. The closest thing we have to it would be right here. So I'm just going to replay. Oops. I'm going to replay to this candle right here. And what I'm going to do here too is, so you guys can see how I have a crosshair over here, right? And it's also over the 5-minute, which is over here. It's also over the 10-minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to rewind it from this point right here, which is 11:55. I'm going to rewind it to here too, so that you guys can see it lined up basically at this point. Or let me see if I can do this. I think this might be easy if I could easier. Okay, time. There we go. All right, so this is going to be easier. Let me just, I think if I rewind this, it'll rewind all of them. Never mind. I thought I was going to, but it didn't. All right, it's all good. I'll just rewind it from here. All right, 11:55, and then right here is going to be a little over. I like 12, so I'll just rewind this here to 12. And this is just for example purposes. If you guys want to see this applied live, I took a trade off using the same strategy on the live session today. So if you guys want to go back and review that, you guys can see me analyze this live, identify, take it, and show profit right after. I trade live every day, so you guys can see exactly when I analyze it, how I analyze it, and when I determine to take a trade or not. It's not this specific trade, but it was pretty much the same thing. It was this one right here that we took this morning. It's like around 8 o'clock. We can even review this one if you guys want me to. So we can even review this strategy later. This one came up at 8:20. So we'll go back and review this one after I show you this example of how the strategy is applied. Because it's not too difficult. The strategy is actually really simple. It goes hand in hand with the high-low momentum pivot scalp. And I think this one's actually easier. It just takes longer to identify because you need everything to line up. So I'm going to put the requirements over here. So we have a clean chart on the markup. So here's the second strategy. First, you want to confirm you're trading in the direction of overall trend. So to do that, you're going to look over here at the 10-minute, make sure this is bearish. So looking at this candle here, this is below the pivots. The pivots are angling down. Everything's below level 4. And the trend meter down here is red. This might seem like a lot of work to do, but once you identify everything, it's not that difficult. It's pretty simple to continue on with this. So looking at this right here, you'll see it's the same process. Like I do the same thing every single day. If you watch my live sessions, I'm literally doing the same exact thing every day. So like, it's like second nature to me. I don't have to think about it. If I look at the candle, I'm like, okay, this is bearish, this is bearish, and this is bearish. Main things I'm looking for is whether price is below the pivots and if the trend meter is red. So price is below the pivots. Pivots are angled, spread out. They're angling down. This is a clear downtrend right here on the 10-minute, right? Same with the 5, same thing. Price is below the pivots, red pivots above. Pivots are angling down, trend meter is red. Same with the 1-minute. Price is below the pivots. It's a little more messy here, but it does line up with everything else. So price is below the pivots. Pivots are angling down. Level 4 pivots above everything. And the trend meter is red. So with that said, we confirm that we're trading in the direction of overall trend. So we're only looking for sells here. For number 2, you want to confirm momentum on the 10-minute time frame. So looking at this over here, you can see that the most recent momentum signal is red, right? This means that we're in a bearish momentum. So 10 minutes red, we're in a bearish momentum. Looking over here at the 5, you do the same thing. Look at the most recent momentum signal. There's a red signal right here. This indicates that the 5-minute is also bearish on this time frame. For the 4th requirement, you want to confirm momentum on the 1-minute. This is going to be your catalyst. So basically, once you have this lined up, it's bearish trend, bearish momentum. You're just looking for a sell signal here on the 1 because you have everything checked off. Once you have this lined up, you just look at this right here. And then for this, same thing, right? You have a sell signal. So this is going to be your entry candle. Once this candle closes, this is when you take the entry. You have all requirements met, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can enter on the close of the momentum candle. So with that said, you would enter your short position right here. And you're pretty much just riding the wave, right? Like the logic behind the strategy is that you're identifying the direction of price and you know where price is going. So it doesn't matter which direction, like it doesn't matter when you make the entry, as long as you know price is coming down. If you take it at a proper entry point, you're going to hit your TP eventually because the 1-minute is going to follow the 5, it's going to follow the 10. So with that said, you let the trade run and you see it pushes around a little bit, eventually drops down to full TP. And then I'm in and out right away. So this is how I scalp. You know, I just look for things to line up on the chart. Like the thing that you have to understand is that the market is always going to be volatile from like 6:30 to 8. So, pretty much during New York session. So if you can find the direction, you just look for momentum here on the 1-minute, and you can see there's a couple entries here. So this is one entry, and there's actually another one right here. So again, right here, you're looking for the same thing. Bearish trend here, here, and here. Bearish momentum here, here, and here. You got a sell signal. You do the same thing. You enter that again right there. And whenever I enter these trades, I never expect to lose. I always expect to win. That's why I can take these trades with a negative risk reward because I trust my entries. You know, I've ran these strategies for years. So it's not like I just came with this yesterday. I'm like, hey, let's apply this. I'm like, I've been doing this same type of strategy for, I don't know, like 5 years now. I've been trading live with you guys. Like you guys can look at all the YouTube streams. I've been doing this type of trading for like 3 to 5 years now, and they're all recorded. So this isn't like a lucky strategy. It's something I've been doing for a while. So I trust it. I know it's going to work. And again, right here, same thing. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Sell signal right there. You enter the trade. Bounces around a bit, but eventually it comes down and it hits TP. So there's 2 right there back to back. Looking for another sell signal here. There is one more right over here. And then same thing again, bearish. If you want to go and rewind the candle over here, this is at 1121. You can go over here to 1121 too if you really wanted to. 1121, which is right there. 1120, which is right here. And it's just repetition, right? You're just looking for the same pattern every single time. Bearish. So we have a bearish trend here, bearish trend here, bearish trend here, bearish momentum, bearish momentum, bearish momentum. You got the sell signal right here. You're doing the same exact thing over and over again. It's just a rinse and repeat. You're trading like you're a robot. No emotions here. Enter the trade. You have everything set up. Bearish, bearish, bearish. You enter the sell here. And that's kind of what I've like learned over the years. You know, it's just, you got to learn how to like have a routine. Like for me, this isn't for everybody, right? Not everybody has the discipline or consistency to just execute when you see a trade like this and you just let it run, you can see it kind of bounces around a bit. That's why we have a wide stop loss, because it's just a safety net. I'm not expecting to lose this trade. I can hold on to this trade for a couple of minutes. Eventually, I think it's going to drop down. So you hold on to it, bounces around a bit, eventually hits TP. Let's look for another one. There's another one right here. So there's like 4 back-to-back trades right here that came up, right? Another one right here. We don't change anything. We're literally looking at the same exact thing. So again, right here, you can see the crosshairs, bearish, 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 bearish trend, bearish momentum. I mean, you don't have to think about it. You just see the entry there. Line the trade up. Got the TP stop loss set up, let the trade run. Full TP again right there. Let's go back to the one right before it. You can literally do this all day. Got another one right here. Right, same thing. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Everything's set up, lined up. Let the trade run. Same thing here again. You know, this is what I'm doing. I'm just looking for my perfect entries, getting in and out right away. Because there's multiple entries, so you don't have to like let the trade run. Like what Bio is saying is you can do a 2-to-1, right? You can technically do a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 or whatever you want to do, but I'd rather just take a bunch of different entries and just hit them all. And I'm basically doing a 2-to-1, but in separate areas. So again, right there, another full TP. Another one right here. Right, I could show you. I could literally go through this all day. This is all from today too. So this is from like 9 o'clock until 11. Another sell signal right here. Bearish, bearish, bearish. You got that lined up there again. And it's just clockwork. You see, like you're literally just rinsing and repeating the same exact thing over and over and over again. If you guys can like not get greedy and just be able to execute. Like you can see here, it bounces around a bit. You might get scared, but eventually hits TP. There's another one right here. So one last one. I'll just show you this one again right here, and then I'll go over, you know, whatever things here that I'm mentioning. So again, right here, same thing. Sell signal. Bearish, bearish, bearish. I mean, you're just looking for the same thing. It's not super difficult. It's I try to like I simplify trading so much where like you don't really have to think. If you can just follow the requirements, you set it up again right there. And then you just let the trade run. And there you go, full TP. So you can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 7 back-to-back wins right here between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. So if you can just focus for like a couple hours and not really do anything different, you just focus on this one strategy, I mean, you can make a lot of profit. You're going to lose trades here and there. You just have to understand that, you know, the losses happen. But the thing is, you can't go off track. So if you lose a trade, you got to just bounce back and keep going and not get greedy. Because the main problem with a lot of people is just trade psychology. So let's see. Hey, what's up, Frenchie? Vapid? I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I know the chat's been closed. I'm glad to see you're still around. Yeah, Vapid said, I'm just trying to figure out how many times I have to blow accounts to be consistent. Can't wait to return working my 9 to 5. It's all good, Vapid. You know, it's going to take time, especially if you can't get the trade psychology down. That's really the problem with most people, right? It's being able to execute. Because the thing is, I'm pretty sure you have a lot of wins, Vapid, and you're pretty consistent. The problem is like you probably make mistakes and you give away your wins, right? You have a bunch of profits, then you give it away, and then you blow an account, and then you just go into a downward spiral. That's what happens with a lot of people. The thing with me is that I think me trading live every day kind of helped me out because it forces me to trade good. Like I can't make mistakes because you guys will be talking shit, right? That's typically what happens. If I make mistakes and I lose trades, everyone's going to be talking, right? The thing is, I don't lose trades and I don't make mistakes because I don't want you guys to be talking shit. So basically, that's why I'm pretty consistent and I'm pretty accurate with my trading because it all falls back on me. If you guys lose trades, you guys lose money based off my trades, you know, people are going to be talking. So that's why I've been consistent. I've been doing the same thing every day. It's just repetition and having the same consistency. And that's why I trade live, because I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. I show you guys the analysis. We take the trades as we as we um, as we see them, and then I show you everyone's profits. Question from Rapid. Rapid's asking, Spiral, yes, is Risky Rick still trading? I see Rick in the group from time to time. I don't know if he's trading as much as he used to, but he is around. So he's popping in the group every so often. He's just not here like every day how he used to. I think he was taking a lot of risky trades, which is fine. It happens to everybody. It takes a lot. Sometimes you have to lose enough times to really wake up and understand, where you're going wrong. But I'm pretty sure he's doing fine. He's not here as often as he used to be. Question from Christopher. Christopher is asking, would you mind sharing the indicators you were using? Love what you've been doing, man. Really good stuff, bro. Yeah, definitely, Christopher. So the indicators that I use for this specific strategy, well, all the indicators that I use are my specific indicators. I created all these myself. What happened was I was looking at a lot of indicators when I started trading. And the problem is you find a lot of bad indicators out there. There's so many indicators. If you go to indicators here and you just look at like community scripts, right? You can find like a lot of the stuff here. Like if you look at pivots, yeah, if you just search at pivots, you're going to find a lot of crappy indicators. Like realistically, you're going to find a lot of bad indicators here that don't really do anything. You're going to find a lot of things that are confusing and they just don't make sense. So what I did is I just created my own pivots. So all my indicators here are created by myself. I created these from scratch. There are ideas taken from other indicators that I like. So I basically used other indicators in the past. I pretty much bundle them into like a super indicator that like just gives me what I need, because there's a lot of indicators that you can use, but you need to figure out like what you need for your own trading strategy, right? You can't just use like something that everybody else is using. Like you can't use the RSI, the MACD, all that stuff. I used all that stuff before, but what happened was I just took the good parts from all those indicators and I just created my own stuff. So all the indicators I use are my own. The pivots, I can't really tell you what they're based off because that's going to give away the secret, but I guess you can say that they're similar to like moving averages. They're like special moving averages though, because I use different moving averages to create this formula, to create these pivots here. Obviously you take a look at it and you're like, okay, these are moving averages. But if you use a basic normal moving average, it's not going to be the same as mine. They're going to be a little bit off because I use specific parameters to set these up so that for my own liking. So for this strategy here, I use K2 pivots. As you can see, it's similar to like using moving average, but it's a lot more accurate actually, because I created it myself. The other indicators that I use here would be the session. So I created this indicator myself. These lines over here indicate where the session highs and lows are. So like, for example, the London lows right here. You can draw this on your own, but I created an indicator to do it myself because I don't want to draw that by hand, right? You can go ahead and draw it by hand if you want. I just created the indicator so that it automatically plots for me, so I don't have to do that actual work. The third indicator on the list right here is the K2 momentum indicator. It's a momentum indicator that I created. This is like my bread and butter. This is the first indicator I have ever created. This basically gives me the buy and sell signals. It indicates the direction of momentum. So like if price is trending down, use these in conjunction. If price is trending down, you get a buy signal. This is a retracement, right? Retracement momentum. You get a sell signal, correction back down. Retracement, correction, retracement, correction. And this is based off a lot of other things. Like this is probably the most complex one that I've created because it has a lot of different parameters that I use to identify the momentum swings in the market. So this one, I can't even explain this to you myself. I had to give this to my coder, who's my brother, and like he kind of just put everything together to create this like super indicator that I use to identify the direction of momentum. So for this one right here, this is the momentum indicator. The other indicators that are not shown on the chart, I'll show this for the other strategy, which is the SRV2. This indicator right here automatically plots support and resistance zones on the chart. So like, for example, if I was to replay back here, you can see that there's all these zones around the chart. It basically automatically populates support and resistance. So like when price bounces around, you'll see that price will like bounce directly off these zones right here. And I use these as reversals. Like when I'm trying to identify when price is retracing and correcting back down, that's what I would use them for. But yeah, this indicator right here, you can see how this populated. It wasn't there before. And as price continues to move along, it just automatically populates support. So price breaks below, creates support. Price comes back up, it becomes a resistance. You can see it's bouncing off right here. It just automatically populates. So, and you can see there's new zones up here, and this pretty much just populates the support and resistance throughout the zone, throughout the chart, in zone form. If you just want like one support resistance, you turn that off, turn on this one, and now you just have one line. So the version 1 is just one line, support and resistance. And this will automatically update as well as price moves along. This is mainly used to identify where the bounces will happen, but I don't use it too much for scalping because the bounces happen everywhere. Other than that, the last one down here is the trend meter. So the trend meter down here, you can set it to whatever time frame you like. I haven't set the chart. You can see whenever price is in a downtrend, it turns red. When it's going sideways, it's blue. When it's green, it's going up. Let's see, question from Malcolm. Malcolm's asking, do you have any free indicators in mind that's at least similar to your momentum? Unfortunately not. That's why I had to create my own, Malcolm. If you look up any momentum indicator, you'll see it's very inaccurate. You're not going to find anything that's like even remotely close. That's why I had to create the indicator myself, because I needed a momentum indicator. I mean, you could look up momentum indicators here, and you're not going to find anything that's anywhere near like what I created. That's why I had to create it, because if there was one there, I would have just used, you know, one that was already built. I don't even know any of these that are anything close to it. Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't know exactly, because I've never used anything else. I had to create this one from scratch because I couldn't find one that was anything that was close to it. I just basically had to pull parameters from different indicators. You know, the momentum indicator is like a mix between moving averages, MACD, RSI. There's a lot of stuff that I put into this indicator. So yeah, unfortunately, I would tell you if I could, but you know, I couldn't even find it myself. That's why I had to create the indicator myself. I've been trading for like, what, 11, 12 years now. I created this indicator like almost 5 years in. So I was trading for like 5 years, couldn't find anything good. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to create my own thing. And that's basically what I did. So unfortunately, I can't really point you in the proper direction because I don't know myself. Let's see, question from Frenchie or Vapid. Sorry, I see your name's Frenchie. Vapid's asking, why were you okay with taking late trades today past 8 a.m.? So the reason why I was okay with taking trades past 8 a.m. is because what I've noticed in the market is that if we don't have an entry between 6:30 and 8, there's going to be at least one entry that happens after 8. And I've seen that happen like so many times. You guys have seen sometimes where we're on the live session and I'm like, all right, I'm done for the day, right? And then I come back like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I made a trade and I made some profit. So I started to notice that was a normal thing, like it was a normal occurrence. So since we didn't have any trades between 6:30 and 8 today, Vapid, I ended up taking the trade like shortly after. Like this entry came up at 8:22. So we were on for like maybe another 30 minutes. There was no entries between 6:30 and 8. We sat here for a bit and this trade finally came up at like 8:20 because 8 o'clock is right here. This is the cutoff. There's no entries here because we had all these red flags, you know, the sessions, news price, opening price. But this would have been a good trade, but we couldn't because it was at the red flag. When this one came up, it was perfect, lined up, and I just took the trade. But when I do that, I only take one trade. So I wait until that first entry comes up, and if I miss it, then I skip the day. But if I do see it, then I take it, which is what I did today. So the only time I'll make the exception is if there's no entry between 6:30 and 8. That's like literally the only exception. Christopher is asking, can we purchase your indicators? Yeah, of course. So if you want to have access to it, just go on the website, kodikaitrades.com, and then you can unlock your access right here. I have so our course here has all of my old strategies that we've been applying. These new strategies aren't on there yet, but they will be on there shortly. I'm going to start recording for them this week. I'm revamping the entire course. So like basically I'm focusing on just 3 strategies, which should be the momentum scalp, high level momentum pivot scalp, and the SR zone strategy. This is going to be basically the breakdown of the new course, so we can focus on just 3 strategies. But you will have access to the indicators if you do sign up. You know, also I do offer one-on-one mentoring. I don't normally offer one-on-one mentoring, but I've been doing it lately because it helps me get better too. Like a lot of people don't like mentoring people, but I actually like mentoring, like for this session here, because it actually helps me review the strategy. Like it forces me to review the strategy and figure out if there's anything that needs to be changed. So when you do sign up, you'll have access to me one-on-one. We could set up a one-on-one session. I can show you exactly what to do. If you have any issues, I can show you how to fix them. And if you want to trade exactly how I do, I can show you how I trade. I only trade for like an hour and a half each day. And then I take some Forex trades throughout the day. So pretty chill way of trading. You might be stressed out first hour scalping with me, but once you get used to it, it's not that difficult. So if you want access to it, Christopher, just go on the website, kodikaitrades.com. You can get access to it here. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna go back to the chat over here. Question from B. B's asking, just curious, I understand at 3-to-1 since your probability of winning is so high, but do you never worry about the circumstances of losing 2 in a row, which would require 6 trades to break even? That was my only issue with US 30. That would stress me the hell out. Yeah, B. So the thing with me is that I don't take bad trades, right? Like whenever I take a trade, I fully analyze it, left, right, up, down, inside out, right? So for me, I don't really fear it because I've been trading for so long and you guys have been following me trade that I trust my strategies, right? The problem with most people, like, with you, for example, B, is that you don't trust the strategy. So you can't take the trades and you won't be stressed out. For me, I'm not stressed out because whenever I trade, I know what the outcome is. The outcome is usually going to be a win. And I have more wins than losses typically. So that's why I'm okay with trusting it. So, it just depends on the person. The thing is, I created this strategy. So it's different for you because you're learning from me and you don't really understand the strategy completely. For me, I understand the strategy completely because I've been doing it every day for, days, weeks, months, years now. So for me personally, I have the trade psychology to take these types of trades. I think your issue is trade psychology, right? Just like how it is with everyone else. The thing is, you can have like most mediocre strategy out there. If you have proper trade psychology, that's all you really need. Because really, you just need a 50% chance, right? With my strategy, you have like basically like a 90% as long as you do it properly. So for me personally, no, I never worry about it. If I lose, then I just call it a day. Usually if I lose, it's because something's going on in the market, right? If I'm doing a proper trade, I usually don't lose. The only time I lose is if I'm trading where the red flags are, or if I trade during news, or if I trade when the market's super choppy. When the market's like that, I typically just sit out anyways. So I kind of understand like when to sit out of the market. And that's why I don't really get caught in those trades, because momentum is always going to move in with momentum, right? If momentum is going in one direction, then I can take a trade and not really worry about it. But for the most part, yeah, I don't really worry about it at all because I'm just, it's just a rinse and repeat of what I do every day. It's like if you're driving a car, right? If you're driving a car for the first time, you're going to be scared the first couple of times. You might even crash the car. But if you've been driving for like, 5-10 years, I'm pretty sure you don't even pay attention when you drive anymore, right? You just drive. So it's the same with trading. It's just being able to execute and do what you need to do when the opportunities come. So yeah, it's not something that I can just transfer. I wish I could just transfer it to you, right? I can transfer my thought process to you guys where like you guys don't have to worry about the trades too, but it's not really that easy. It's just that I've been doing the same thing every single day where I don't even have to think about it. And if I do lose a trade, I just call it a day. So say, for example, if I lost a trade today, then I'd wrap it up, come back tomorrow, have a couple more wins, and then break even. But for the most part, I usually don't have that issue. Let's see. Talanji is asking, and the thing with US 30 is that it moves fast. So, if you don't have the confidence in the asset, you might want to like either lower your lot size or trade, basically something else. Maybe like the S&P. But it doesn't make a difference. You're trading you're trading this and you're trading the S&P, you're still gonna have the same issue. So, because I still trade for a negative risk reward regardless of the asset when I'm scalping. So, question from Talanji. Talanji is asking, are you going to remove or update the older trades like counter trades, triple confluence variations? I still like to use them with snipes for confluence. No. So everything's going to be left on there. So let me just pull up the course real quick. So what I'm going to do here when I have the course revamp, Talanji, is I'm just going to push everything down. So let me just pull this up real quick. Okay, so this is what the course looks like right now, right? None of this stuff is going to disappear. You're still going to be able to use all this stuff. The problem is like when people sign up Solange or join, they don't know where to start, right? Even though it says new trader start here and then it has everything in order, people still get super confused. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knock this down and then I'm just going to make it 2.0 above everything else. So you're going to have basically this curriculum above everything. Like these will have their own videos up here. Yeah, these videos will be basically above everything up here. And then you'll still have this stuff here. This will just be like course 1.0 and they'll have course 2.0 above it. So you'll still have access to everything. It's I just want to make sure that I focus on just a couple strategies here so that people can just focus on like what we're doing, because we have so many strategies where people are getting confused and they don't know what to use. And if I just focus on these 3 strategies right here, it'll just take away all the confusion, because it's impossible to screw it up, right? If you're only following these 3 strategies, and then these 2 scalp strategies are basically the same thing. So that's what I'm focusing on. I just want to clear up any confusion, and I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Sisuk said, yeah, no, thanks, Sisuk. Exactly. The skill set is difficult for trade psychology. All right, cool. So I think that's it with the questions. We went a bit off topic right now, but that's fine. You know, I'm here to help you guys out. So if you guys have any other questions, pop them in the chat. If there's any concerns that you guys have, just pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go over the last strategy right now, and then we'll move forward with this session today. Let me just scan real quick. I'm going to see if there's any entries that we can take because it's 5 o'clock. The next 4-hour candle closes in the next 1 hour, the next 50 minutes or so. So I'm just going to look real quick for a quick scan to see if there's any entries here. I don't think there's anything here. If there are, I'm going to mark it up. I'm going to just put a marker next to it so I can come back to it at 6 o'clock. CAD CHF. CAD JPY. Nothing right here. Yeah. Oh, your name is Cryptopher. That's my bad. Dude. I was calling you Christopher this whole time. Cryptopher. Yeah, Brian. Pretty sure that's a pun. Anyways, no problem. You know, we do this mentoring session every day, and we do the live sessions every morning. So if you ever want to hop on, you know, feel free. You know, I try to give you guys as much help as possible, because the thing is, I was like in your same position in the past. So I know a lot of people don't like to help new traders out, but they don't like to help traders in general. But you know, I was in the same position as you guys. So like when I first started the community, I couldn't find a good community to trade with, and that's why I created our group. So yeah, whenever you want to hop on, bro, you're always more than welcome. And I think for these mentoring sessions, I'll just make them open to the public because, you know, people have questions. So I'd rather help you guys out and not keep any secrets. So Euro Auto over here, let me check this real quick. This looks like this could be a possible good entry. The daily right here is bullish. The 8-hour is bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. Red pivots below level 4. Same with the 8-hour over here. So you have the same thing here. It's very bullish on the higher time frames. Daily 8-hour, and then looking over here on the 4-hour, this is also bullish. So this is an entry that I would possibly take if it closes above here. So I'm gonna I think it's already marked off. So I've already marked it up. What I'm gonna do is I'll come back and I'll see if this will provide an entry for me. So 75 pips, 70 pips. Yeah, it could be a 70 pip move. I'll just move my stop loss and profit as it continues to move along. So this will be possible entry. We'll come back and take a look at this. So I just have that marked up right now. So basically, whenever I look at these entries, I look at the actual requirements here, which are super simple. I'll go over the strategy, so don't worry about it. I'll go over it in detail. Confirm break and close past SR zone. So if this candle here closes above it, then that's going to be requirement 1. Confirm trading the direction of momentum. We have a buy signal right here. It's requirement 2. And you guys can see, like, I know these strategies like the back of my hand. I don't have to think about it. Requirement 3, enter on the open of the falling candle right there. Another thing that I like to do, which is not part of the requirements, which I should probably make part of the requirements, is look at the overall direction. So what I do here is I typically look on the 8-hour and daily so I can make sure price is actually going up. So if I do take this here on the 4-hour, if I take it right here, price might bounce around a bit. So you might see some crazy movement where price will go up, price will come back down, go back up, come back down. But eventually I'm expecting it to go all the way up and test this next zone up here. So if I have that right there, I'm okay with taking this trade because I can trust it since I see that on the higher time frames. Odds of this going up higher are very likely. So, it's just having as much probability on your side as possible whenever you take these trades. I try to keep the strategies as simple as possible because, realistically, you're going to win or lose the trade. As long as your probability is there and you have a solid entry, you just got to trust this trade. If you hit your stop loss, you hit your stop loss. But, we win trades more than we lose. So as long as you have a 50% win rate, which is a lot higher here, I think this has maybe 75 to 80% because we don't take that many trades. I'll just take every trade and just let them run. As long as you're using proper risk, you should be okay. So this right here is solid. I'm gonna come back and take a look at this closer to 6. The candle's closing in 55 minutes. I'm gonna scroll through real quick, see if there's anything else. And if not, I will show you guys some examples of this strategy specifically. Euro NZD. So this one over here is technically still running. 125. I'll come back to this later. So this trade here is in drawdown, but it's technically still running. It's just we can make a late entry or we can just have a buy stop set there. So actually, I wouldn't take this trade. So the reason I wouldn't take this trade here is because this here is a buy. But if you look at the overall bias over here, everything's bearish. The 8 hours bearish, daily is bearish. There's no reason for me to take a buy here. So for this, I wouldn't enter this late and I wouldn't try to get into this at a different time. I'll skip it. Euro USD, nothing there. GA. So this is the trade that I took last night. This trade was some BS. Like it was so close to TP and then it ended up spiking down right here and it hit our stop loss. So I'm not going to hop back into this yet. This gap, this move here was just too tight. Like this here was, I think we were trying to go for like about 30 pips. I don't like taking trades that tight, but I felt good about it at the time of entry. So I was like, okay, I'll take the trade. See, you can see we got really, really close to TP. Got super close to it. And then it just spiked down right here and it stopped me out. It was it was really close. If you look, you zoom in, it was maybe like, let's see. It was like less than a pip away from TP, which is all good. It happens, but I typically don't like taking trades like that for GA because this asset does spike around a lot. GA, EA, EN, GN, those 4 pairs, they spike around a lot. So I typically want to have at least like a 50 to 70 pip stop loss or a range at least. 30 pips is just too tight. So it's all good. I ate a loss on this. I only took 1% risk because it was on a Sunday. And we'll just see if we find anything else. So nothing here for GCAD. GPCHF, nothing there. GJ, nothing there. GN. This one's too messy. You can see how the gap, the spaces in between are just too tight. There's no room to take any entries. So there's nothing there. GU right here might be okay. Let me check real quick. No. So GU is actually bullish. The daily here is bullish. The 8 hour is bullish. The 4 hour right here, this is probably going to swing back up. So I'm not going to mess with that. NZD CAD, NZD CHF, NZD JPY. Maddie actually identified this last night. It was, we were going to call this trade, but the candle here was too big. Typically, when you have a candle this big, price needs to retrace, which it did right here, and then it came back down. NZD USD. Let me check the trade quick. Yeah, no, nothing there. USD CAD. Nothing there. It's like right at the zone. USD CHF. So it doesn't look like there's any entries right now aside from Euro AUD. This is probably the only one that looks decent. Because let me just clean this up a little bit. We have price breaking closing above it. Everything's pretty much bullish on the 8 hour and the daily. So if this ends up providing an entry, I think we'll probably call this for a trade and I'll take it. But we'll come back in the next 50 minutes for me to confirm that it actually closes above the zone there. Yeah, Natasha said you dipped into it a few times trying to figure out how to set your trailing stop. Yeah, hopefully you pulled out of that one okay though, Natasha, because yeah, the trailing stop is a little tricky. I would recommend just using a manual stop. So like what I do, Natasha, when I take a trade is when price moves in a profit, what I'll do is I'll move it up myself. I'll just drag it up and I'll move it up here. Like I'll move my stop loss in profit. So I cover the spread and my commissions. So if price comes down, I pretty much guarantee a profit. And if price pushes up to TP, I pretty much could bag that as well. Nice. Okay, so you pulled out in profit. Solid. Yeah, no, smart move on your end to do that because there was opportunity to pull out. See, Vapid said KOT always needs 3 pips above TP to close. Yeah, I never used KOT, but I've known KOT since people were using them a lot back in the day. I just never wanted to use them because they always had bad stuff that they mentioned about them. I use Forex.com, but the problem with Forex.com is you need a bigger deposit if you want to trade with them. So yeah, I just have 10,000 in my account. It's actually a really small amount compared to like my other accounts. Because I don't really care about Forex that much. Like I'll make like a couple $100 here. Like, like every week I'll make like a couple, like what did I make last week? I made like, I think 800 or 1,000. Yeah. So if I'm making profit on this account, it's not like I'm not making this money to like, to really spend it, right? It's kind of just like it's like a bank account for me because Forex.com, if you deposit enough money, they'll pay interest on your money. So I just leave money in there. It's like a high yielding savings account basically, but you can trade within it. It's kind of like an IRA, but you can pull money from it. So yeah, if you have the funds, I would just trade on Forex.com because you can trade directly on TradingView, which makes it easier. Like for example, if I wanted to enter right here, I just hit buy. So I can just connect it right here. So I have 10,103 in the account right here. It's my personal account. If I wanted to enter and trade here on Forex.com, I hit buy, and then I could just sit. I could set whatever I want right here, right? If I want to do a 3% risk, it automatically plots my unit size, my lot size. I don't have to do any work. So it's super simple. So if you're trading Forex, Forex.com is my recommendation. If you want to do an unregulated, because you have a smaller account, which is completely fine. Yeah, you have to kind of like side with brokers that aren't as great, but it's all good. I mean, Hugo's is okay. The thing with Hugo's Vapid, I actually stopped using Hugo's. I started having issues with withdrawals. So they're okay, but if you start making bigger withdrawals, they take a long time to pay you out, or they have issues. Like it takes some time. So like typically when I'm with Hugo's, whenever I go over like a couple of $1,000, I just make the withdrawal so that I can get it paid out to me. If you start withdrawing like over 5,000 and 10,000, there starts to be issues. So I'm actually using Hanko Trade now. So if you want to try out Hanko Trade, Vapid, that's what I've been using for my scalping on my personal account. But there's always going to be issues with these overseas offshore brokers. You can't get around them. So you might want to try out Hanko if you're having issues with KOT. All right, Mandy has a question for me. She's asking, what pairs would you recommend for beginners? So I don't really have any specific beginner pairs. Mandy, if you go on the course, I think I closed it already. Oh, no, it's still here. Or no, I think I closed it. Oh, no, it's still there. Okay, so if you go over here on the course, Mandy, just go to the K2 watch list. And I have my watch list right here. You can download it and then you can just upload it to your TradingView. So I don't have a specific beginner pair. I just look at all the Forex pairs here because they're all valid. If the entry comes up, I mean, they're all fine. But since we're trading on the 4-hour, you might want to message me. So if you ever look to take an entry, just message me and I can analyze it for you to make sure it's a good entry. If you're talking about scalping, the only scalping pairs that I only use scalping for pairs, I use indices. So the only scalping that I do is on US 30. So depending on what you're looking for, Mandy, I don't trade. I trade on the 4-hour for Forex, and I use all these pairs because since you're trading on the 4-hour, you're not going to get that many entries. So I only trade on these pairs here. Basically, if I see an entry on any of these and everything lines up, then I'll take the trade. For scalping, the only asset I trade is US 30. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so you're only scalping. So if you're only scalping, I would just stick to US 30. That's probably going to be your best thing, and just stick to the morning sessions until you're comfortable. Once you're comfortable, you can trade probably outside of the morning sessions, but from my from my advice, I would just stick to the morning sessions, because you guys can see the accuracy and consistency with my morning trading. I only trade for an hour a day, and then I do whatever I want the rest of the day. So if you want that type of lifestyle where you don't have to like worry about your trades, I would just scalp in the morning, make your profit, and then just enjoy the rest of your day. Come back fresh the next day, do the same thing, just rinse and repeat Monday through Friday, and you should be good. Because realistically, if you think about it, if you can make 1,000 a day like what I'm doing, whether it be one account, whether it be 2 accounts, 3 accounts, 4 accounts, you're doing pretty good, right? Like if you can do this every single day and just take one trade, or even if you're on a smaller account, if you're on so this is a 200K account, if you're on a 100K account, you're making 500 a day times 5 days a week, that's just one trade, right? Times 4 weeks in a month, it's 10,000 a month, times 12 months in a year. Like you can easily make 6 figures if you can find the consistency. Because the thing with trading is like you don't want to stress yourself out. You just want to make sure that you're like in the game every time you trade. The problem is if you trade all day, you start to get lazy, you start to get greedy, you start to get, I don't know, you just your mindset starts to play games on you. So for me personally, I like to just be focused for 1 hour, get in, get out, and then go to the gym and do whatever I want for like the rest of the day. Then I come back the next morning and I do the same thing. It's like having a normal job, but only working for an hour a day. Yeah, no problem, Andy. You're on the way lower account. It's all good. If you're on the lower account, you'll build your way up. Like if you're on like a 10K, 25K account, you're gonna make a lot less profit, but it's a price you got to pay to really get this stuff down. So, all right, let me just go over the strategy now, guys. So let me go over this SR zone strategy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me change the settings a little bit over here, or let me put another requirement. So third requirement, confirm. Trading in overall trend momentum on 8-hour daily time frames. So I'm just going to add that requirement there because I'm all about like accuracy, guys. I'm all about having the highest probability trade that you guys can take. And I typically I try to make the strategy as simple as possible, but I think the best option here is really to teach you guys to be disciplined, because you guys can take a lot of entries here, but the main thing is like how accurate can you be, right? If you're not accurate, there's no point in taking all those entries because you're going to lose trades. So let's see, Zach said, can you show the trend meter settings? Yeah, sure. So the trend meter settings are just set to chart. You don't have to change these at all. I just have them all set to chart. I always have them set to chart. The only time I have them set to like the default settings, which is 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour, is if I'm applying the intraday strategy on the 30-minute, which I don't really apply anymore because I don't want to be on the chart all day. For that strategy, you're basically looking for the trend meter to match the momentum signal here. Like if you were to have this set up like this, you'd be on the 30-minute, and then you'll find entries here. Like for example, you got a buy entry right here, or a buy signal that's matching the trend meter. This is where you take the buy. Again, right here, you have a buy signal, trend meter is green. You take the buy right there. Basically, whenever it matches, that's where you would take the trade. I personally don't like trading this myself because you have to be on the chart like all day. Every 30-minute candle, you have to make sure that you find that signal there. I personally like 4 hours. So what I do is I just use this strategy, but this strategy doesn't require to have these settings on the trend meter. I just have it set to chart because I'm already identifying this on a different time frame. So like I have this here on the 4 hour, but I have my other charts here for the 8 hour, which is also set to chart. All the charts so I can see the 8 hour time frame. And same with the daily over here. Have this set to chart as well, because I just want to see what the trend is for this specific time frame. So yeah, everything is set to chart, Zach. unless you're applying a specific strategy that requires it, which is just one strategy, but I don't really apply that as much. So it's not really necessary. All right, so let me go over here real quick and let me find an example for you guys. All right, so let me see GJ real quick. I'll see if there's anything that came up over here. All right, so let me check this one right here real quick. So let me just check the other time frames to see if this here is actually proper entry. No, so this would be a proper entry here. All right, let me see if I can find another one over here. Let's replay it to say this candle right here. No. Let's try this one. You know, it's going to be hard for us to find. Or actually, let me go to the one that we actually took recently. So let me just go over here. I'll use this as an example because I already know that this was a valid entry. Where's the GA that we took last week? So the GA we took last week, I think it was GA, right? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let me go to that pair real quick because it's going to be hard for me to like try to look for an entry here because these entries don't come up very often. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark up the entry that we took last week, which was, I believe, right over here, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so this here is on Sunday, November 20th at 1400 hours. So let me just get to that over here. Okay, Sunday at 1400 hours. And then I'm going to open this over here as well. All right, so this is an actual trade that I called. It was an actual signal. So let's go down the requirements over here. So basically, you're just looking for two zones. There's two zones that your main focus is because you're looking for entry and then you're looking for where your TP is going to be. So for this here, the first requirement is to confirm a break and close past an SR zone. So in order to identify that, you need to turn on the SRV2 indicator. So if you turn on the SRV2 indicator right here, you guys will see all these zones on the chart. When you go to the settings here, make sure that you have show body levels on, because if you have it off, you're not going to have the body levels. You're not going to have any bodies. You're just going to have lines. You turn this on, and there you go. You have body levels, right? So for the first requirement, you want to confirm a break and close past an SR zone. So looking at this candle right here, it's breaking past the zones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my own zone so that we can clean this up, right? Next up, you want to confirm you're trading in the direction of momentum. So looking back over here, you want to look at the most recent momentum signal. As you can see at this point, most recent momentum signal is buy signal right here, right? So with that said, you have the second requirement met. For the third requirement, you want to confirm you're trading in the overall trend and momentum on the 8-hour and daily time frame. Since we're trading on the 4-hour, we want to know what's going on 8 hours from now. We also want to know what's going on a day from now so that you know that your trade is going in your direction. And if you take this, you can trust that it's going to hit your TP. So going back over here real quick, we'll look at the 8-hour. The same time right here is right here. You can see it's bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are starting to angle to the upside. This confirms that it's now shifting to a bullish bias. Looking over here on the daily, same thing. Price is above the pivots. We have a buy signal there. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. They're spread out. They're all above the red level 4 pivot right here. So with that said, we do have requirement 3 met. So we have requirements 1, 2, and 3 met. Next, you can enter on the open of the following candle. So right here, you can enter at this point. For the TP stop loss, you want to set TP near the next zone. So the next zone is going to be up here, right? There's no other zones before it. this is the closest zone. Your TP is going to be set. It can be set like right below it. So the zone's right here at 171 pips. You can probably make it to like 160 pips just to give it some space because you need to cover the spread. Spread right now for this is probably like 10 pips because it's like getting late in the session. So you want to be able to cover it and also cover spread. My personal rule is that the highest that I'll go is 150 pips. 160 is pushing it. It's too far out. That's like a super swing trade. And I don't want to hold trade for the trade over the weekend. So basically, I'm going to cut it down and cap it at 150 pips. That's just my cap. You guys don't have to use that, but it just fits my trading style. Like I want to be out of this trade by the end of the week. So I have this trade set up here. Everything is pretty much met. Once you have those two zones, that's all that's required. You don't care about the zones up here, zones down here. All you care about is the break and close past the initial zone, and then the TP, which is going to be up here. Once you have that set up, you can let the trade run. And then typically when it breaks and closes in profit, I would typically move my stop loss in profit. However, this right here closed at 2200 hours, which is like 10 p.m. my time. And I'm already asleep at that time. I try to go to bed as early as possible so that I can wake up the next day fresh and ready to trade for my scalping. So I'm already asleep at this time. I basically wake up around like 6 a.m. So about 6 a.m. right here, it was already in profit. What happened at this point is when it got into profit, I moved my stop loss in profit now. So I pretty much protected my position. A guaranteed profit right here at this wick. You can just put it at break even if you want, or slightly higher like I did. And what I did is I just let the trade run. So I let this trade pretty much run for the next couple of days. Price bounced around a bit, came back up. Eventually it hit TP right there. And this is the trade that I took where I locked in right here, GA, took the same exact trade, locked in 602 in profit on my personal account. So I take these trades and I just take, X amount of risk. I think I took about 5% risk on this trade because this was such a good entry. I saw it and I was like, this is a good trade. I looked at the overall direction. I was like, this is definitely going to hit TP. So what happened is I took a bigger risk and it hit my TP, thankfully. So that's how I made profit off this trade here. And this is how you apply the strategy. So there's going to be a lot of subjectiveness here, mainly about the zones and where to set your TP. But if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to drop them in the chat. This might not even apply to a lot of you guys because some of you guys don't even care to trade Forex anymore. I only apply these trades on my personal account, and I only use them because you guys kept asking for me to bring signals back. And in order for me to call signals, this is like the main strategy. So basically all the Forex signals that I call in the group are going to be based off this one strategy, like literally just this one. So if you guys want to learn it, you guys learn. It's easy to learn. But if you guys have any questions, I think that's where you guys will learn the most. Because if there's any confusion here, I can help clear that up. But I think other than that, that might be about it. Unless you guys have any other questions. We've been on this mentoring session for about an hour and a half, a little longer since I got on a little earlier today. But I think that's all I really had to cover today. Unless there's anything else that you guys want me to cover, just feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap this up pretty soon. Tomorrow I have another mentoring session with David. So that's going to be a one-on-one. You guys are more than welcome to sit in, but I'm not going to be answering any questions. It's just going to be me and David. Natasha said she traded yesterday using FTMO. Can I do that? Yes, you can do that. I don't know what the restrictions are for FTMO because I don't really trade anything with them other than US 30. I only trade US 30. But from what I remembered, you can't trade like 5 or 10 minutes before and after news, and you can't trade over the weekend, Natasha. So unless you have a swing account, you have to close all of your trades by Friday. I would close them by Friday noontime Pacific, or just close them out on Friday in general. Because I've taken a trade where I held on to it, where it was a technical weekend, technically a weekend. I held on to it during a holiday on a Monday, and I lost my funded account. They're very strict. It doesn't matter how long you've been with them. I was with them for I think 4 or 6 months by then, and I was consistent. And they ended up, they still took the account away. So I just had to go and redo the challenge again. Yeah, no, you're fine to hold it during the week, Natasha. It's just on Friday. So you can't hold them during holidays. You can't close them or open them during news events. And you can't hold them over the weekend. So the weekend meaning when they say overnight, they mean Friday. So like Friday until Sunday. But other than that, I think you should be fine. Unless anybody knows anything else, feel free to chime in because I don't trade Forex on FTMO. I only trade US 30. Yeah, I'm using forex.com for mine because I like to trade directly on TradingView. It's just easier to manage because I can just drag my position up and stuff. And there's I hate the MC4 platform, honestly, to be realistic. I hate the MC4 platform. It's so outdated and old. Once FTMO ports it over to like TradingView, I'm not going to use MC4 anymore. It's just it's not the best platform to trade on. It's okay to scalp on because we just use the quick trade manager. But personally, I don't like the platform at all. All right, guys. So I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out through email or Telegram. You guys can email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com. If you guys want to message me on Telegram, feel free. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to help you guys out. If you guys want me to analyze anything for you, just send me the pair. Send me the pair. I'll send you my analysis. I can analyze anything. My analysis works for whatever asset you're trading. If you're trading Forex, indices, gold, it doesn't matter. Whatever you guys want me to analyze, I can do it for you. And I actually like analyzing pairs. So I know a lot of people get annoyed when they get asked to analyze something, but trading is like something that I actually like to do. So when you guys ask me to analyze something, I can do it pretty quick. And I can give you, my opinion on like what I feel is going to happen with that trade or that specific pair. But all right, guys, I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning, same place, same time for the live session as we take on US 30 again for Tuesday. I think tomorrow there's some news coming up, so we want to be a bit careful. Let's see, tomorrow morning. We have HPI, S&P, CS Composite, CB Consumer Confidence at 7. That's about it. So not too much news, but some news that might throw off the market. But either way, we'll be ready to handle that when it comes time. So, all right, guys, other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys here tomorrow morning for the live session.